The Dublin elections of 2024 have taken place, and they've offered a spectacle that could rival any gangland drama. As the count stretched into its third day, an already stressed political environment was electrified by the unexpected appearance of a man called Jerry the Monk Hutch. Well, this has resonance all over the place. One of my mothers was born in Dublin, and I was also at one point a monk. So it makes me worry about my heritage, really. Here stood a man synonymous with Dublin's underworld, attempting to parley his notoriety into a seat in the Irish Parliament. His bid failed, but the underlying story raises profound questions about Dublin's social fractures, political representation, and the seductive power of populism. Hutch's 3,098 first preference votes placed him fourth in the initial round in Dublin Central, ahead of seasoned politicians like Claire Daly, and for a moment it seemed possible that a figure accused of money laundering and linked to a gang feud claiming 18 lives could gain parliamentary power. It's not just a media circus, it's a genuine reflection of the state of politics in Dublin's north inner city, a community battered by poverty, housing crises, decades of neglect. And Hutch styled himself as a pragmatic outsider, promising housing safety and, ironically, law and order. In his blunt campaign videos, he lambasted the political class for abandoning ordinary Dubliners. Well, that may be true, but was he the person to be carrying the torch? For some voters, his criminal past seems secondary to the promise of change. Well, if no one is promising change, then that's understandable, isn't it? This phenomenon mirrors the Pablo Escobar playbook, leveraging notoriety and local philanthropy to command loyalty. But this was no fairy tale for the Monk. Ireland's proportional representation system, with its labyrinthine counts and vote transfers, ultimately derailed his campaign. So does that not actually promote the whole idea of proportional representation? That it's not as crazy as it seems. Mary Sherlock, the Labour candidate, clawed back her deficit through transfers, aided by Fine Gael's Pascal Donohoe. The final margin, a mere 781 votes, underscores how polarising Hutch's candidacy was, but how triumphant the PR system actually is. Hutch's public appearance at the RDS added a surreal twist. His arrival, flanked by security, mobbed by reporters, resembled a boxer entering the ring, and his remarks, peppered with wry humour, "I've been running all my life, I love running," hinted at a man as comfortable in chaos as in control. Yet behind the bravado lay an undeniable truth. This was a man trying to legitimise himself, not just for votes, but for a legacy. He might as well become the next American president. This election isn't just about Hutch, it's about the conditions that made his candidacy possible. His strong performance highlights the disconnect, doesn't it, between Dublin's political elites and its marginalised communities. Voters on the north side aren't endorsing crime, they're crying out against inequality, housing shortages, the failure of the system. For Dubliners, like my family, this saga stirs unease. This is the city of James Joyce, of revolution, of resilience. It's also a city shadowed by poverty, by gangland violence, even if some of the parts of the city which used to be extraordinarily poor have now been lifted into privilege. Hutch's campaign may have failed, but it's a warning. Ignoring the struggles of Dublin's inner city risks more than just controversial candidates. It risks the very fabric of Irish democracy.